I am all about this Japanese stir-fry noodle dish. I love the little porky bits and the chewy noodles and a little stir-fry sauce that might have a few ingredients in it that would surprise you. This is Japanese yakisoba noodles. Okay, so first up we're going to talk about the noodles, and I'm really lucky here in Bangkok. I have a load of Japanese supermarkets to choose from. I can get all the different kinds of noodles I want. I know you guys have a little bit more trouble, but here we go. So these noodles are yakisoba Japanese noodles. They come in little packets like this. They do say soba, but it's not the buckwheat type of noodle for this. It's actually a wheat-based noodle. So whatever kind of wheat-based noodle you can get in your area, just go ahead and use those. If your noodles come in these little packets like this, these little cakes, I'm going to show you the tips that I have for breaking them apart. So if you pull them out, you can see that we've got a little bit of oily film here. I like to get that off before I start using them in a stir fry or a soup. So put these into some hot water. Now grab some tongs, and you want to be patient and a little bit gentle here. Grab a hold of a noodle cake and just shake it really gently in the hot water. And do that for all of them. Packet instructions on these always say just go ahead and stir fry them from the noodle cake. Totally not possible. They just break up into clumps. Okay, so now we're looking pretty good. This has only been literally like less than a minute. Noodles are just about untangled, and I want to get them straight out into a wide, large plate, just so they don't cook too much. You could also put them in some cold water as well to be on the safe side. Okay, so beautifully separate, lovely noodles ready for stir frying. I'm going to set those aside for later. Today I'm going to use pork belly for my noodles. I find that it has a really lovely soft texture, and that's right, with pork belly you can actually cook it really quickly and still keep it really tender. It doesn't have to be slow braised. So when you're buying the pork belly, look for pork belly. It doesn't have too much fat. There's obviously going to be a little bit of fat, but get one with a nice hunky bit of meat on it. And this one has some skin on it, which is not great for stir frying, so I'm going to take that off. Easiest way to do that is slice your pork piece in half first into strips. Now get your knife and kind of slide it in under a piece of skin on the side, and then flip the pork over and use that little piece that you've cut like a handle, and hold your knife steady and then wiggle that skin over the knife. And there you have the skin removed. Now I want this pork to cook really quickly, so I'm going to slice it very thin. So I've got my cabbage. I want my cabbage to maintain a little bit of structure and a little bit of crunch after I've stir fried it. So I don't want to slice it too thin here. I just want kind of like bite-sized pieces. So the other vegetable is my shiitake mushrooms, and these are dried, and I've had these guys soaking in some warm water for about 10 minutes, 15 minutes or so. They're soft. I'm just going to squeeze them out. And then this center part, the stem, always with these dried mushrooms is just really firm and too tough to eat. So I cut those out and then just slice those up. And some spring onion. So I find with the spring onion, I like to stir fry the pale part at the beginning of my stir fry. It kind of lends more fragrance to the oil, and then the green part I like to add at the end. So I'm going to slice the pale part into quite coarse kind of pieces, rough pieces. Put that in with my onion because they're going to go in together. And then these green parts I want in nice long battens. And for the stir fry sauce, we want some soy sauce and some oyster sauce. And then here are a couple of little surprise ingredients. So I've got some Worcestershire sauce and some ketchup. So you'll find there are quite a few Japanese dishes that have these little American or Western influences, and you can't even taste that there's Worcestershire or ketchup in the final stir-fried dish. It just sort of adds a tanginess and a little sweetness to the whole stir-fry. So there you go. Now, one little ingredient that I add that's not so traditional is dark soy sauce. I really like to add a little bit of color and then a little dash of sugar. You could use honey here as well if you like, and then just mix that through. Okay, so now we are ready to sizzle. Now in my hot pan, I've got a very wide pan here. So that's gonna be the best for stir frying a large quantity like we have here. Just gonna add a little bit of oil and my onion and spring onion tips. So I don't want my onions to cook too much. I'm just gonna push them to the side of the pan. Now I've got a big hot surface area for my pork. The pork goes in. And straight away you want to spread that pork out. Try to get all the bits making contact with that hot pan. Now just let that pork do its thing and sizzle for, up to about a minute. I want to see some really nice golden brown color when I turn those pieces over. Okay, let's have a look. And, oh yes, that's some beautiful color there. I'll toss everything together now. Now time for the carrot. It is in little strips, so it is going to cook pretty quickly, but it is the firmest of the vegetables we have, so it's going in first. Now once I can see that carrot wilting, now I'm going to get my cabbage in. Now give this a toss through, and I don't want to cook that cabbage too much. I still want some crunch there at the end. And now my shiitake mushrooms. And time for the noodles. Sauce goes on top. Look at all those beautiful earthy colours. Such a joyful, comforting kind of homey dish. Now just stir fry this and keep it moving in the pan. I kind of want the sauce to thicken ever so slightly so it just clings to each little strand of noodle and each little piece of pork. This is not a soupy, saucy kind of noodle dish. We want most of that beautiful flavour soaked up by everything in the pan. Finally, the green parts of those spring onions. Quick toss through. And that is it, my friends. Oh, look at those noodles. And then this is totally optional, but I love to keep these little Japanese pickles in my fridge. I eat them with all sorts of different things. But on noodles, they're the best. So just sprinkle a few of these on top. This is pickled ginger. And there you go. If you love noodles, you've got to give this one a try. One of my favorites, and so easy to make as well. Oh, look at those steaming noodles. So good. I love the tanginess in these, and like I said, you cannot taste specifically the ketchup or the Worcestershire sauce. It's just a beautiful, savory, piquant, kind of slightly tangy sauce. Just delightful. If you've got any comments or questions, pop them below. And if you enjoyed the video, why not hit that subscribe button plus the little bell one, and that way you'll get notified every time I release a new video. Thanks guys.